Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office. I have no idea what's in this package. It might be something suitable for a teardown video or it might be suitable for just an unboxing. It says electronic bits and it's come from China. Unfortunately, I've got so many projects on at the moment, you know, personal projects at home that are in various states of sort of waiting for parts, you know, sitting for bits and bobs. And because I always buy all my parts cheap on eBay, I've got big shipping times, so I never get them from a single source. I honestly lose track of where I get to with things, and I'm normally prompted when parts come in, and that sort of reminds me where I was. Interesting, very interesting, incredibly interesting, wonderfully interesting. Wow, that is a lot of stuff. You know, I'm gonna look, if I zoom out, you can see it's taken up the whole area, and then you can see the surrounding mess around my work area. And I've got a sort of invoice in here, which is interesting. Look, there's a load of things in here. So, just rattling through, we should have two 4-channel relays with opto couplers. We should have one set of jumper wires, which are always useful. 2 8-channel modules. 2 Wi-Fi transceiver modules with serial and GPIO. Those look awesome. And by the way, we'll go through this when we check. I'll tell you what they do. 1 Wi-Fi relay module. 1 boost step-up module. So that's a step-up power DC to DC. 65 pieces of solderless breadboard jumper cable. 10 pieces of Class D power amplifiers. And 2 more wireless transceivers with more access point and STA modes. So I'm going to have to be a bit careful because we need to make sure all of this arrived. So we'll get rid of the bubble wrap. And by the way, if you ever order anything from any of these online places, be it eBay or be it just a regular shop, this is the process I advise and this is the process I use. So join me now on my auditing process. So let's make a little bit of a clearing here. So that's 1 4-channel module. And I tick it off. 2 4-channels modules. So that one's done. Big load of jumper wire. Yep. Small load of jumper wire. That's those 2 right there. Wireless module, Wi-Fi module. You don't know what, there's another Wi-Fi module. We know we have 4 Wi-Fi modules in total, so I think these 2 are the same and these 2 are the same. So we're not going to check any closer. That's the Wi-Fi module, opto couplers. So we remain just a few more. There's our Class D amplifiers, a whole bag of those. Great, it's supposed to be 10 pieces, I'm not going to count them. Looks about 10 to me. 2 8-channel relay boards. Nice, absolutely wonderful. This is a relay board module with the Wi-Fi thing already attached. There we go. And 1 module which is a DC to DC booster. Is on my list. So, should we have a look at some of these while we're all together, all chummy, you and I? Let's have a quick look. We're not going to have time to play with them, but we'll just have a quick time to look at these. And I think I need to spend at least 1 vid almost each experimenting. So this is a DC to DC step up. Let's get that out of the way. Step up power supply. It's not sure which way round it sort of wants to go. In fact, there it says there, icstation.com. So we'll hold it this way. And yeah, the idea is you have power coming in, which is, you know, whatever certain voltage. I'll have to look up at the spec really. I don't think it tells us on here. Not really. Yeah, 5 volts. So the input range is 4.5 to 32 volts and it'll output 5 volts to 55 volts and it'll boost that up. So that's kind of interesting. Not really sure how they work. We just have these sorts of boosting circuits and this is one of them and we'll see what that says. That should be quite the interesting project. I won't slip it in the bag, just put it away for now over there. Let's look at the relay module. This is quite exciting again because you saw those Wi-Fi modules. Now the Wi-Fi modules earlier, and we'll cover it here so we won't go through them later. These can act in an access point or connect to your network. And you can see here it says AI Thinker, because it's not just a Wi-Fi, it's got a little bit of a microcontroller. And you can actually have two forms of input and output from this. It has a serial port you can use, and it also has general purpose I/O. So there'll be an app on your phone which will allow you basically to trigger random pins of the general purpose I/O. So for this, for example, you'll have the power coming in, powering all of this side, and you can then attach your phone to this Wi-Fi and then just say, like, turn on and off this relay. That's the simple use case for this. And then just to show you here, this will actually activate this opto isolator, then that will trigger the relay. And you can see on the board there's these big air gaps because you can have mains on here, and it's rated for 10 amps at 277 volts or 12 amps at 125. So that's really cool. If you think of your Internet of Things type project, you can build this into a lot of stuff and then just turn stuff on and off from your phone. So for example, we've got electric gates here, electric garage doors, all this sort of thing. And sometimes you lose your key or your key fob. How cute would it be to put this in and set it sort of hopefully to a momentary trigger, so you can just, you know, open your house or something just using your phone if you forget your keys. Absolutely great. Now, these are the relay modules. I'm not going to get them out of the bags because you've seen them before in one of my earlier videos. They're basically the same as this, but instead of having the terminal strip here, they've actually just got pin headers. So it's kind of a sort of cheaper variety. I don't know how much I paid for all these bits and pieces. I'll say go through on the individual videos and we'll see how much they cost. But yeah, this allows, say, a microcontroller like this to sort of activate these low current, low voltage lines to activate mains powers relays. So always useful. That's a sort of example where there's a hell of a lot going on with sort of 8 channels. Now these are crazy useful because you always need to hook something up to something else, and you can have big balls of wire. I've got a few on the shelf, but you never have enough colours, and it's always a little bit painful. So if you've got these, you can use them to sort of screw straight into things, or you can solder them straight to PCBs. If you get them in different lengths, there's no harm then if you cut them, strip them. So these were very cheap buying them like this from China. So I advise, yeah, get some of this instead of just trying to get balls of wire, because you're only going to get a couple of colours. Wi-Fi modules, we'll need to see what the spec is. You can see there's 2 different kinds. These 2 have the antenna. I don't think that's the only difference between them. I think there actually are sort of slightly different functionalities. Although, why don't we just look at the bags and actually just see the chips. So the one on the left, in case you can't read it on the screen, says ESP8266 MOD. And the one on the right, ESP-S266 MOD. So it does say the same sort of thing. ISM, all the usual things. 802.11 B, G, and N. So I think actually they're pretty much the same modules, but this one just doesn't have an antenna and this does. But I really don't know. These things, incidentally, I think they were like £2 each. They're incredibly cheap. Incredibly cheap for the functionality you're getting. You can take this basically, you can see on the back, transmit, receive, and then GPIO 540215, yeah, not sure about the numbering, ground, then reset ADC EN, that's enabled, so that's like a chip select, and then another bunch of GPIOs and another power. So it's crazy useful. You can just add this to almost any of your projects to add Wi-Fi capability. Brilliant. If those are easy to program up in terms of actually making your phone recognize them, I think these will be really invaluable for the sort of money. Here are some lovely amplifier boards. I've used these before. If you need in any of your projects, be it, I don't know, an arcade build or just some sort of telephony or something like that, these chips are really easy to get hold of and quite cheap, but it's always like a breakout board is a pain if you're just going to do a system integration. You want to hot glue something. So here, there's 4 modules here, so just work on this one at the moment. You've got 5 volts in, that'll power this whole module, and then you've got your left, common, and your ground. Sorry, your left, common, and your right. So the middle one will be like your ground, your audio ground. Then you just have your output, your left channel plus minus and your right channel plus minus, and it's kind of some sort of fixed ratio on the actual amplification. And just to sort of show you, normally if you want to adjust the sort of amplification, it's a combination of these resistors and capacitors, so they'll affect the feedback circuitry and that'll affect your gain. You'll get the data sheet for these normally. Just to tell you what it is, it says it's a PAM8403 THD518DN. It's a really common one. I remember when I looked it up, it was actually quite a common chip, and most of the chips actually follow very similar layout. So if you're used to using these amplifier chips, that's a good way of buying them. Again, they're pennies each. And then these are just smaller versions of the previous relay module. So let's get one out. I know we've not really too much exciting to see on a relay board, but you know, you never know. So 4 relays, again 250 volts, 10 amp relays. You've got your opto isolation right here, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 LEDs. DC plus, DC minus, so that powers the board, and then you've just got your 4 inputs. And these jumpers here, which are really useful, they're saying if this is active, low or high. So if it's active high, it means when you send a sort of 5 volts or 3 volts signal, these will turn on, or if it's active low, when you remove and you pull these to ground, they'll come on. So you can use these directly with sort of switches or toggles or a microcontroller. So hopefully that was slightly interesting to you. I'll try to put links to things. I know I'm not very good at it, guys. I've been bad in the past, but you know, I'll really persevere. And we'll try some of these modules out going forward in the future. I think, for example, we've got these Wi-Fi modules, just to let you know, we've got these Wi-Fi modules, we've got these relay modules. So rather than do these separately, I'll just do this one and we'll see how easy that's to activate. Please feel free to comment down below and ask me any questions you might have. Obviously, if you use Twitter, jump on Twitter, ping me there. I really don't know what you like seeing unless you contact me, so please feel free to do that. If you like this video, please click the like button down below. If you want to be updated when I make these videos, I know they're pretty frequently at the moment, please click subscribe. And as ever, thank you for watching.